Welcome back to Beyond the Shears and the 406. This is the podcast where we go beyond the beauty industry surface and talk honestly about what it means to be a stylist, a salon owner, and everything in between. I'm Kitty Youngquist, and I am your host for this 406.
I'm Jenny. Thank you for joining us.
We're so glad you're all here. Today, we're going to tackle some of the biggest myths we hear from both clients and stylists. It's time to do a little salon myth busting.
I love Mythbusters.
Mythbusters is actually a great show. Mm-hmm. They should do a Salon Busters.
They should.
I always loved that Tabitha's Salon Takeover. Did you ever watch that?
No.
She was a British woman. Oh, she was a great stylist, but she would come into salons and just basically take over and revamp their whole salon and get them back up and running and making them successful again. So,
okay.
Let's talk about extensions ruin your hair. This is one of my favorite ones because this is a myth that I've worked really hard at busting, because when I started doing hair extensions back in the day, almost every single kind of hair extensions hurt your hair.
Sure.
Great Lengths was the first one to come out with the single pre-bonded method, and it was actually really good. However, it depended on the stylist that was putting them in too. Like if the work wasn't right and they were off base, then they could definitely damage your hair. But if they were put in correctly, kind of just like our beaded rose,
right?
You know, if you put them in right, they'll be okay. But if you don't put them in right, they won't.
Sure.
So how do you know if your stylist is going to put them in right or not, right?
Right. Yeah, so much to consider when you're considering getting hair extensions. And yes, that is a huge thing circulating around, that they will destroy your hair. And honestly, that could be true if, like you said, they're done incorrectly by an unskilled technician. You know, so many things factor into this. That's why it's so important to vet your stylists. But when it's done correctly, you know, you can get around that.
That, again, is a lot of it is going to be the questions that you ask. You have to interview your hairstylist. How long have they been doing extensions? What kind of hair do they use? That's another thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have the best method in the world, and if you get bad hair, then, oh, Jenny, did you get bad hair once when we were trying to vet some? When we were trying to, when we were trying to figure out where we were going to get our hair from, it's very hard, and sourcing is very hard. And so there was some times where I spent thousands of dollars on hair and it came and it was garbage.
Yeah.
And so even though my gentle beaded method was on her head, I mean, you told me that it felt like it was what?
It was just impossible to keep it from matting up, and, you know, those mats and matting to your hair and all that stuff, which is damaging.
Right.
And I'm a hairdresser. I know how to take care of extensions. I'm an extension specialist.
Yep.
And I still was struggling every morning to get my natural hair out of the extension hair.
She said it felt like it was crawling up her body.
Yeah.
And in a sense it was, because Remy hair is when all of the cuticles on your hair are laying the same way. When you reach down and touch your hair, it's Remy, because that's how it's made. But when they take hair off of the head and they start putting it together, sometimes the cuticles they're backwards. What happens is they start to mat, because it's like scales on a fish. If they don't go all the same way, they're going to be harsh against each other. So not only do you have to have good hair and a good method, but you also have to have good aftercare.
Sure. Yeah. If you're not taking care of your hair and you're allowing that matting, or you're, you know, sleeping with it wet, or you're
not putting it in a braid,
pulling
at
it
night
this way and that way, and you're not gentle with it,
or you're using bad product.
Yeah.
The hair extension hair is, especially most varieties of hair extension hair, are going to be they've already had things done to them.
Sure.
They've been pre-processed. That's the word I was looking for. Also, they aren't attached to your head, so they can't get the same oil that you're getting from your scalp. That kind of runs down the hair and makes it still nice and moist and takes care of things. So it doesn't have all of those things, so you have to use good product. I know that you know these things and I know these things, but we're trying to educate everybody as the general public.
Yeah, I think most damage does come from bad installs. Like you said, cheap hair, that matters. Where the hair is sourced. You know, if your install is not correct, tension's huge. You know, anytime there's sewing done directly to the hair, through the bead, beads are too tight, anything like that, that is going to create excess tension, which in turn is going to harm your hair. But if the install is done correctly, the tension is taken in mind, the client's head shape is taken in mind, the hair is of good quality, and those clients are educated on aftercare. These things are all recipe for good hair installs, which can actually help the client grow their hair out underneath.
Right. We don't use any glue or tape either, which is another thing. We
I
don't
lost half my hair from tape and
Yes.
extensions.
Yes.
Yes.
It was yes.
Exacerbating some alopecia I didn't realize I had. And yeah, that's a whole different story.
Yes. So, just getting yourself educated and vetting out your stylist. How much education have they had? What kind of method do they do? How long have they been doing it?
Or as a stylist, I would urge everyone to master their craft. Instead of hiding behind, during your consultation, all hair extensions cause damage, and this is no different. Why not find something that doesn't, or master your craft to where you are taking in tension, you are taking in all of these things into consideration when dealing with your client.
Yes, I agree. And, even the regular, like I said, extension hair can do that. The one method that I have found, or the one source that I have found, is our Russian hair is probably like the best quality hair I've ever worked with in all of my career. Probably the first time in my life that I've had hair that has my texture on my head, which is crazy for me. So, but that hair also comes at a cost. It's more expensive. It's harder to source. It's all one donor. So it's literally coming off of one person's head. There's lots of things that factor into hair extensions. So don't just assume because one hairstylist told you that all extensions cause damage, that is the truth, because it's not. What's another myth?
Oh, that, hairstyling isn't a real career. This one's my favorite, actually.
I know.
Out of the bunch. Because I've dealt with that a lot. Someone a few years ago told my own daughter that hairstylists don't make any money.
Right.
And she was quite confused by that, because she sees where we live, and I've never had problems clothing her or anything like that.
Right.
So it was confusing to her. And she actually came home and was like, hey, this happened. And I had to just laugh and tell her that, sure, you can make zero money if you're not putting in any effort, but you can also have a 6-figure career if you decide to.
Yes.
So this one's really good.
It gets dismissed a lot.
It does.
And it can be dismissive, honestly. Like you said, there's lots of different kinds of hairstylists. So you get to choose what you want to do with your career. And if you're going to be, I remember I knew I was going to do hair my whole life. I got kicked out of algebra class once because I told the teacher that letters didn't belong with numbers, and I was going to do hair, so I didn't need to know any of this anyway. Little did I know that letters do belong with numbers as far as the colors go.
And we have to math.
Right. But anyway, yeah. But you can, with the right education, you get to decide where you want to go. I remember when I got licensed and I was in Montana, my whole focus was getting to California because that's where people could make money doing hair, right? And it's true. I moved to California. I worked in like it was one of the top 3 salons in all of Sacramento area, which is enormous. It was a really nice salon, but there's also still people down the street working at Great Clips. And just because they're in California doesn't mean they're making a whole bunch of money. So I was like, oh, it's not just the location.
No, it's the hustle, and it's the
drive for education.
It's the drive for education, and what you put in is what you get out. And that's what I told my daughter that day. And I said, do you see me making good money hairdressing? And she said, yes. And I said, well, here's why.
Right.
Here's how I have accomplished this as a hairdresser. And if you want to be a hairdresser when you grow up, be a hairdresser.
Right. I literally had this happen in my chair just a couple weeks ago. This girl sends a panicked email that she has to get her extensions out and she wants to get them moved up. But she only has this amount of time because she's a traveling nurse. And so we didn't have anybody that could do it, but it happened to be my day off. So I came in to help her. And so I went through the consultation, told her all about it, and told her how much I charged for a move up. And she says, my hairstylist in Portland doesn't charge that much. And I said, what does being in Portland have to do with how much I charge?
Right.
And she just like kind of looked me up and down. I'm like, well,
She assumed we lived in the
Yeah,
sticks and
did you get your
we got
license to
1989
Yeah,
prices.
right. I don't know what she thought, but she said it to me twice.
Sure.
My Portland stylist doesn't even charge that. So, well, my prices are based on my education.
Yeah, I'm also looking at the extensions on your head right
Right?
now, lady, and
I can tell that your
I can tell
Portland
you
stylist
paid
doesn't
$200
charge
for your
that much.
extensions.
Yeah. So I took her extensions out and she moved on. I'm sure she found somebody to put them in
Yeah.
for what she wanted to pay, and that's fine. But you don't get to, it's disrespectful. It was very disrespectful. I felt like saying, oh, so did you get your nurse's license in Oregon? So do you get paid Oregon nurse's license prices?
Right.
Like, what
How are
is
you surviving
right.
on a Missoula?
in Missoula? How do you
Missoula
do
nurse
that?
wage.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
anyway, but all of us have to deal with that. And I'm pretty settled with who I am as a person and as a hairstylist. And I didn't feel bad just letting her go somewhere else because
Right.
I don't, people sit in my chair because they want what I have. And if you don't, there's people out there that won't. And
Right.
I'll see you in about 5 years when you're 30 and you've been wearing these extensions for 5 years and you have alopecia from it. So maybe you'll come and sit in my chair then.
Right.
So I think also another way that you can look at that is there's commission stylists and then there's booth renters. And I think that both are a good way to go. I feel like if you decide to go commission, you need to be very clear on when you want to work, what you want to work, what you are expecting, because I feel like some commission salons, I try to pride myself on, it's important for me that my stylists are successful. If you aren't successful, then really the salon isn't successful.
Right.
So I feel like I've built a very good system for our commission that's fair, and it's easy to move up if you want to hustle.
Right.
You can also sit at a certain level if you don't want to hustle, and that's okay too.
And also, in turn, that is breaking that mold of that hairdressers don't make any money, right? We are very much dedicated to our team and that we are stronger together, and, everybody needs and deserves to make as much money as possible. And I feel like we've really facilitated a structure where we can do so. And if you're in a salon where you're not feeling seen or heard like that, then possibly commission isn't for you and you need to move to booth rent or vice versa.
Or find a commission salon that
supports you.
That supports you.
Right.
Also, like booth rent can be good too, but I mean, they just kind of come with
there's pros and cons
pros
to
and
both.
cons.
I've done both in my career, and I've been dressing hair for 16 years and I'm on a commission scale right now and I love it. It's right where I need to be, and for what we're doing and where I'm at as a hairdresser, this structure works for me. Yeah.
What's nice about commission is you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
I do a lot. Because, like, for instance, payroll taxes are due next week. We had 5 payrolls in September. So, and October is one of our slowest months. So I always stress in October. It makes me sweat for as far as payroll taxes go. But you don't have to worry about that.
I know. See, that's a good thing.
That's great. And when you are a booth renter, not only do you have to worry about, are my taxes getting paid? Am I behind? Can I pay my rent? Do I have all the formulas I need? So I've seen a lot of different booth renters. I've seen booth renters that have worked with me that go in the day of and get all of their product because they have nothing in their cupboards.
Right.
And then I've seen booth renters like I was when I was renting. Basically, I had everything I needed just in case whoever walked in, I could handle it.
Right.
But those are both okay ways. But then when it comes to your taxes, you have to keep track of all of that. And what can you write off? What can't you write off? It's a lot. If you have a great accountant, then either way is going to be fine.
Like I said, they both offer real growth tracks. It just depends on where you're at. But I think it's really important for stylists to really weigh, the pros and the cons of each and what's right for their life at the moment. And that's going to propel you into success, right? So if we're trapped in a situation that isn't really right for us, or we're struggling as maybe booth renters, we don't quite have the clientele yet, maybe consider getting into a commission-based situation, or vice versa. If you feel like you're outgrowing it, you feel like, you could be making way more money doing this yourself as a booth renter, then maybe get out of the commission structure that you're in.
Right. I also feel like you've talked about this before, and you really decide where you're going to be. So you should find a place that feeds your soul,
Yeah.
Our alchemy project is just starting to get on its feet, but I have it all mapped out. And to me, it's very important as a salon owner that I teach my new coming girls and guys that it needs to be treated like a business. It's not just your art. Art is so important, and it's like it's sometimes 3/4 of what we do, but you still have to have that 1/4 of business sense in there as well.
Yeah.
Also, if you treat your job like a hobby,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a hobby.
Right.
If you treat your artistry as a profession, it will be a profession.
Right.
So a lot of it is what you tell yourself.
Right. And also, striving towards something that makes you happy. Like, we have both become hair extension specialists, and I am, branching into trichology and things like that. I really want to master all hair loss. So really sort of honing in on my career after this long and figure out where I want to go and what's going to bring me to the next level. I think that's important too. And that's, when you're a young stylist, I think doing a little bit of everything is great. Get those skills underneath you. Figure out what really drives your passion.
You might not even know what resonates with you until
Right.
you've been doing hair for 5 years.
Yeah, do all the things first, but
Yes.
then really sort of find a track that makes you happy and go with it. And if you become specialized in something, the sky is the limit, honestly.
I agree.
All right, luxury salons are snobby.
I love that. I don't know. Are we snobby or do we have standards? I think that to some people, holding ourselves to the standard that we hold ourselves to seems snobby.
Right.
I mean, I've done interview after interview with people that I just knew weren't meant for fabric. And it's okay. But if you want to do hair in your pajamas and you want to not have your makeup on and you don't want to treat your guests with care, for me, I think it's detail. It's comfort oriented. It's caring about
Right.
your guests and yourself.
Right.
And I am in the business of beauty.
Right.
And I believe that
Client experience is number one for us.
Right.
From the moment you open that door to the moment you leave, you are cared for.
Right.
You are greeted with kindness. You are treated with hospitality. You are led to your chair. You have a fantastic experience.
You're
chair.
asked if you need anything. We get you drinks. There's snacks around. Our extension clients
Don't rush your shampoo.
Nope. No. You're not feeling like you're rushed out because somebody is waiting on you. I make sure that my clients are spaced enough that nobody feels like they're in waiting
Right.
or
We're not double booking.
No.
And all of the crazy things that make people feel rushed out of here. And you know what? It matters.
It does.
Matters. And
even if you're cold, if you tell me you're cold, I have a blanket that I bought at Saks Fifth Avenue that is the most luxurious blanket I've ever found, and we love them. I have a black one and a white one, and if you're cold, you get a blanket.
Right. And all of those things we just mentioned, what about that is snobby?
Right.
None of it.
No.
None of it.
No.
And over and over and over again, because we put such emphasis on that in the salon, we get the feedback from our clients. And I don't know how many stories they tell us of how they weren't treated like that and how
Right.
that made them feel. And I remember a couple of years ago, we did like psychology of hairdressing. And the number one reason people will come back to you is
Is
not
how
your
you-
skills.
Nope.
It's how they were treated.
It's how you make them feel.
Mm-hmm.
If you make them feel good, they will come back. And luxury is a word I'll never forget. I have had actually 3 times since I've owned the salon have I run into fellow hair artists out and about that don't work with me, but they know who I am and what I'm doing and what Mirror is, and they also do extensions, and they it's like a papa. Oh, but you're selling luxury extensions, and they say it like it's a snake.
Yeah.
Well, I am, and I that's what I do. That's what I feel like I am called in my heart to provide this service, and it is a luxury service. And it's okay. You can spit that word at me, and I'm just going to smile and nod.
Right. Because guess what? The person that comes in for a bang trim,
Right.
they're getting a luxury experience too.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if you're getting an expensive, high-end install or you're getting your hair washed and blown out.
Or
You're
if you're-
going to get the rock star
Or if
luxury
you're a
treatment from
man.
our staff.
We have the Impeccable Gentleman, which I love. I just bought a hot lather machine for our men.
Right.
So not only when you get your hair cut are you going to be able to do the hot towels, but now you're going to be able to get your neck trimmed with
Yeah.
some hot lather.
And if all of that makes us snobs, then pinkies up, bitches.
Pinkies,
Pinkies up. Let's go. Your clients deserve it, man. Do
I
better.
feel like there's two different cultures too. Do you want to speak about that at Fabric and Mirror?
Yeah, I mean,
It's all luxury.
I feel like it's all luxury. You
But-
know, it's all welcoming, approachable, warm, emphasis on client experience. We do have,
We're a
consider
little more funky on the
we're
on
a
the
little more
fabric.
funky, a little more wild, a little more
Eclectic.
open. Yeah, I feel like, on the mirror side, we've sort of shut it down. We've made it more of a VIP experience. A lot of that has to do with comfortability of our clients
Right.
with taking their hair extensions out. Lots of them, especially my clients, suffer from lots of hair loss. And that can be a very vulnerable state for people. So we make sure that they are having an elevated experience that is quiet and not exposed. So it does create more of an elevated experience on that other side, which is a little more quiet, a little less integrated with tons of people talking and
Right.
watching and looking.
But both things are good. Both things are luxury. And I feel like both sides give a sense of community.
And you can have fun and funky and wild and all of the beautiful things that are happening on fabric side and still maintain luxury.
Yes, you can.
So
Especially luxury also means like the products that you're using. And
Right.
we really work hard to make sure that our clients get the best that there is out there.
Yeah.
All right. Also, I forgot about this one. We don't ever want our clients to feel judged. I talk about this a lot. I hate it when stylists get a phone call from their guest and they have a question and they kind of roll their eyes. It just bugs me because they're not artists and stylists. They don't know what's going on, and their question probably is very concerning to them, and it shouldn't be laughed off.
No.
So I feel like every one of our guests leaves feeling cared for and not judged.
Yeah.
That's huge.
100%.
All right. Let's talk about myth number 4.
That you can't have hair extensions if your hair's thinning.
Now, is that a myth though?
People kind of assume that, or it goes back to the whole damage thing or whatever, but 99.9% of the reason I got into hair extensions is to help people who are losing their hair.
Right.
So, again, it comes back to how you're doing it, what you're doing, why you're doing it. Yeah, but I think a lot of women do believe or have been falsely led to believe that because their hair is thinning or balding or whatever it may be doing, that they are ineligible for hair extensions.
Right.
And that's not true.
We're really big on being honest with people though too. And there's been a couple people that I've had to say, okay, your hair isn't quite ready yet. It might not be quite long enough. We do have a couple of our guests that are getting close to having so much thinning on top that they won't be eligible soon because we cannot help with hair extensions. We cannot help those ladies who don't have anything to cover
Sure.
the rows. So,
But that broke both of our hearts, right?
Right.
And we have to turn people away. So what
Right.
do we do? Educate ourselves on
Right.
multi-method things.
Right.
Some women are going to need 2, possibly 3 methods on their head at once
Yep.
to achieve the goals that we want safely.
Yep. And modern solutions exist for all clients. So it may not be the extensions you are thinking of where you're just wearing rows, but our mesh integration is going to be able to help all of those other women. And we're super excited about that too. So there's a lot of reasons that you might need a mesh integration. I just want everybody to know that this is an absolutely normal thing. Women have been dealing with this. I had an aunt and a teacher that I remember when I was growing up that had that female pattern baldness where you could literally see their scalp through their hair. And it's hereditary. It happens. Sure. Also, there is crown thinning going on because of COVID hair loss. Lots of women right now are taking GLPs. That's causing hair loss. Postpartum hair loss is a big, huge
Hormonal
thing.
hair loss.
Yep. Perimenopausal hair loss. These are all normal reasons for you to be concerned about your hair. And we're here to talk to you about it if those are any of your concerns. Again, make sure if your stylist, like when I tell people I'm doing education on mesh integration, that doesn't mean Jenny and I are going to go over the weekend and watch a 2-day class and we're going to know how to do mesh integration.
Right.
Number one, it's probably going to take us a few months to get through our online courses. We have to send feedback to our educator. Then we do models because we're not going to be experts from the get-go. So,
Nor are we going to claim we're experts
right.
from the
So
get-go.
by the time it's going to take us a year to be experts, but we are in the beginning phases of that. And what's really, really cool about my Reflections hairline is we will be able to custom create your topper, your piece that goes on top or the piece that goes over your part where you're losing your hair. I will be able to custom color that to match your hair exactly.
And I don't know about you, but I'm so excited to be able to help everyone.
Right.
To be able to, no matter what, someone gets in our chair and we know how to tackle this. That
Right.
is like, it makes me more excited than I've ever been in my career, to be honest with you.
Right.
Like, I can't wait to get through all of the training and to just really, really offer that to people because nothing makes me sadder as a hair loss sufferer myself
Right.
than having to turn someone away. So,
I agree.
Very excited.
I agree. Let's just touch on this really quick. Let's just touch on one of these. Like I'll touch on one bullet point and you touch on another. But this is kind of a silly one. But I'm going to just say it because all hair color is not created equal.
Yeah.
What you get in the grocery store is subpar compared to what we can get in the salon.
Big time.
Even though there are companies that have stuff in the grocery store. I think I saw Schwarzkopf was coming out with a root touch-up for the grocery store. That still doesn't mean that the quality's there. There's metallic dyes in those. There's a lot of things that...
Dangerous chemicals.
Yeah, that if they mix with the chemicals from our color too, it can cause chemical reactions and foil to smoke. And so just don't assume
in your hair. It's really hard to get out.
Also, the commercials that they say this is this hair color on TV, that is not the hair color they're using.
It has not been colored with that color. I guarantee it. Nor has it been styled with
no,
what they say
no.
it's been
In fact, it's probably been styled with Isles formula.
Yes, it has.
Actually.
Thanks, Wendy.
So go ahead and touch on your bullet point, and then we'll sign off for the day.
Well, not only are, the box colors and all of that stuff just loaded with metallics and things that are really terrible for not only your hair, but your body, they're not going to last. They're going to fade. You're going to get unpredictable results. You're going to look at the color on the box and be like, yes, but is it taking into consideration your undertone? Is it taking into consideration what you've got going on or what's on your hair? None of that. A professional is going to be able to do that.
Hair history is important.
It's insanely important, especially for achieving the color that you want, depending on what color you previously have.
Right, but the box isn't going to ask your hair history.
It's not. No.
So you're just going to put it on there, and it's going to take different on every single piece that has history.
Right. And it's not going to last. It's going to fade. It's going to fade irregularly. So there's a lot to be said. Yes, there's a lot to be said. And also within our industry, we've worked with lots of different color lines. I won't mention, anything because I don't want to get in trouble here, but the one we had previously, like, I just wasn't digging it. And neither were you, and neither were our stylists. We're just like, this was
in love with our Moroccan oil.
Yes, so we switched to Moroccan oil, and we love it. So it's not all even created equal in the high-end stuff. So there's that.
Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Beyond the Shears and the 406. We love sharing these conversations with you, and we hope that we help bust a few myths today.
And if you enjoyed our episode, please share it with your friends. Please share it with your clients. People need to know the truth. And feel free to email us with any questions that you guys might have or maybe ideas for next podcasts at podcast@fabricsalon.com.
That's fabric with a K, Fabrik, salon.com. Don't forget, you can always connect with us at Fabric Salon on Instagram or at Mirror Mirror Extension Lounge or at Heroin Chic.
Yep.
Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. And keep making this world beautiful, one head of hair at a time. We'll see you next time.
Pinkies up.